about the midfield, because we take off Maddison at half-time against West Ham, and obviously what happened in that second half happened. We absolutely battered West Ham, and it looked a lot more kind of balanced in the midfield with Pape Matar there. Fast forward to the game against Crystal Palace, Maddison is back in that midfield. I'm not sure if the balance was lost or something, but Kate, do you feel like Ange has lost the balance in midfield at the moment?
Look, I'm not Maddison's biggest fan. I was debating recently about whether he's been a flop at the club, but I know that his stats are very good. But I just don't know if Madders and Kulu work that well together, because Madders drifts to the left, Kulu drifts to the right. I don't know. I'm not convinced that they work together all the time. I think the balance is playing. I do think it's one or the other for me. And because Kulu's probably been our most influential player this season, he's the one that's getting chosen, which is rightly so. I think he's been brilliant. I'm not convinced that Ange likes Madders that much. He hasn't played a full 90 minutes all season, which is a little bit concerning, I would say, if you're James Maddison. But I think we're quite lucky in midfield. We've got some good midfielders there. Obviously we've got Maddison, Kulu, we've got Bentancur, we've got Sarr, Bergvall. So we're quite blessed. But I just don't think Kulu and Madders bring out the best in one another, and I don't think for certain games they're the right choice. Like for Man City, I would not play those two together at all. I think they need to be. You need to have more of a. I think it'd be. If I was the manager, I would pick Sarr, Benny, and probably Kulu for that match, so that it's more. You've got the legs of Sarr. I mean, we all know he's an absolute engine. He covers every blade of grass. Bentancur's been excellent this season. I don't know what's happening with his ban, but I'd be using him as much as possible in case he does get banned. And then you've got the creativity of Kulu. Like I say, he's so fluid, his role. He runs into so many different positions. I think defenders really do struggle to sort of mark him. So that would be my choice. I'm just not convinced that Madders and Kulu work together. And I think Ange's preference is with Kulusevski if he was given the choice. So as I say, that's not great news for Maddison, but I'm not his biggest fan. Although when he plays well, like the first 10 games of the season, he was excellent. I just don't think he's got back there.
I did feel like for a while at the start of the season that they were working very well together, and I think their link-up play together, they're definitely on the same page, in my opinion. But that second half against West Ham, you did see a lot more balance in that midfield, and we did go and absolutely tear West Ham a new one. I mean, where are you at with it, Jimbo? Do you feel like they can work together? Do you want to see Sarr maybe implemented instead of a Maddison?
Yeah, I think there's certain games that it will work, and there's certain games it won't work. But I think I agree with Kate with the Man City game. I'd have Sarr in there because he's going to work hard. But I did notice on the Crystal Palace game, Madders was coming back a lot and defending a lot more. So I think that he's probably had a word with him. But I just think it depends on the games. Ben, I think that. I think the Crystal Palace game, I think our players were a bit shocked at how they come out, how Palace come out, you know, and I think that what he should have done, Ange, is he should have changed it quicker and brought Sarr in because of the legs, him chasing it down. But look, I just think different games, it'd be different midfielders will work together. But, you know, that's up to Ange to work out. But some games, definitely. I'm like you, what you said. The beginning of the season, I thought they really worked well together, but it's kind of died off a bit. So I don't know if it's because of the teams we're playing, but that's for Ange to work out.
Sim, do you feel like to have Kulu and Maddison in the team regularly, week in, week out, you need like a much better six behind them, or do you think we've got enough, to let them strut their stuff?
I think for most games, you should be okay, to be honest. I think there will be a lot of games where Basuma and Bentancur, I think I might even prefer Bentancur when it's Maddison and Decky in a way. And maybe when you bring Sarr in, you have Basuma there, because I think that Bentancur has a bit more what's called discipline in that position, and he'll just stay there and he'll cover that space a lot better when he's got Maddison Decky there, whereas Basuma is not as disciplined. But then when Sarr comes in, I think Basuma just offers you that bit more flexibility on the ball, and I think he can offer that bit more drive.
They work well together, don't they, as well?
And Sarr as well. So maybe that's the way I'd play it. In terms of Spurs losing their balance, yeah, I mean, look, I said in the preview I wanted to see Sarr in this game, but I think it's more to do with the characteristics of this game than it was to do with the dynamic of Sarr and Maddison together, because I think they actually work really well together, and they do unlock a different dynamic to the team when we are playing against teams who we know we can dominate and know we can keep the ball and play through. But against a team like Palace, playing a back three, two defensive mids, and then you got two players like Eze and Sarr and two wing backs, you're gonna need big legs in that team to contain them, because there's those switches of player constantly on. You've got Eze in those pockets of spaces. You're gonna have to make sure that because those switches are constantly on, that means there's always going to be a lot of space for someone like Eze to operate in, unless you've got someone on him and making sure he's not getting too much on the ball. He can really run the game, and that's exactly what he did. So I think it was probably a mistake not to play a Sarr probably in this game, or maybe even a Bentancur in this game with either one of Maddison or Decky, and I think we probably paid them. Either you do that, or maybe you can play them both somehow, but you match Palace up and play a back three. Anyway, against Brighton, it was working brilliantly until it wasn't, and then all of a sudden we were getting overrun. And again, we should have probably brought Sarr on earlier. But first half people weren't saying that. We were carving Brighton open for fun, and we were 2-0 up, could have been more. And I thought Maddison and Decky having great games, and then as soon as we were under pressure, they didn't have the legs to cope with it, and that's something that we got to say. So I think clearly we are much more open, I would say, when they are both on the pitch. That's definitely true. But as well, when teams are sitting back, we need that ingenuity. We need those two players working together in tandem to attack teams. So it's a difficult one. It's a fine balance to kind of strike. And I think Jimbo's obviously spot on. I think it's definitely going to be game dependent on when we use those two together. I do think more often than not, I would like to see them together. Right? I think if we can get them together, I would. But I think games like on Sunday against Palace, I think that game was probably calling for more legs just because of the way Palace play. Yeah. And I think that's what was needed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. And when you look at the second half against West Ham, I mean, we talk about our attacking threat maybe being diminished a little bit when Kulu and Maddison aren't together. But Sarr came in and we scored 3 goals straight in the opening 20 minutes. It's not like we can't hold a big attacking threat. Yeah,
but that was because we'd already broken the deadlock in the first half. If it was still 1-0, would we have done that? I don't know, because look at the 3 goals we got. The second goal, to be fair, was a good build-up goal, but the 2 goals we got were from fast transitions and counter-attacks because West Ham had conceded and they had to open up a bit and we hit them quickly, and that was actually quite perfect for having Sarr there. But when they were sitting deep, I thought Maddison actually had a good game. The only problem was, when they have players like Kudus there and Bowen, they were hitting us on the counter, and we just needed to stop that from happening. But yeah, you're right. We brought Maddison off and we brought Sarr on. We scored 3 goals in 15 minutes. I'm not saying we can't attack at all with Sarr on the pitch. I'm just saying when teams are sitting in a low block, I think we're better off with those two than with just Sarr.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. Look, let's finish off talking about the game tomorrow night and about what team we want to see. A bit of team news.